welcome to Teleislas News, the most relevant and important news of the day.
This afternoon, a blockade took place in the sector of Barrack, where the community took the main road of the sector to show their dissatisfaction with the problems that afflict islanders.
With chairs, buckets, and common elements, inhabitants of the Barrack sector blocked the road as a protest against the absence of water in the area for several days, a situation that the community indicated has been affecting them.
No, we block our road because we don't got no water. I have to go and buy this butter on 5,000 pesos of it. If you go bathe with, imagine if you bathe with, I have to buy this to bathe it because we don't got no water. I have to go and from Barrack, I have to the two spot because maybe we say, no, but this boy live cool. But I got my whole barrack too, so I live the two spots. Now I got about 27 days without water, and we don't see neither governation up the side, we don't see Veolia, nobody no come report all, they say the police, and the police they want to see the solution they want.
Just about the necessity of the person, of the people in the community who need the water, and urgent, you know what I'm saying? Every day we see big truck of water pass, giving hotel and things like that. And what about we? You know what I'm saying? We cannot live without this thing. You know what I'm saying? Water come from right Barrack. You know what I'm saying? And they don't pay nobody no mind. So one time I see this kind of things, you know what I mean? You'll not be surprised. It's just what the people need, the water.
From 2007, from them put the contador, 2007, I start receive water. First winter they started put on the water, I started get water normal, good. And from 2007, everything shut off.
The blockade caused traumatism in the flow of vehicles, causing drivers to take alternate routes. This situation caused dissatisfaction among protesters and drivers. The community requests the presence of the departmental authorities due to the absence of the precious liquid in their homes. It should be noted that an hour later, the water service was reestablished, a situation that caused the blockade to be lifted.
Governor Everett Hawkins met with the directors of the State Social Enterprise, also known as the ESE. The purpose of the meeting was to know the current operational management of the health system on the island.
At the Coral Palace, the director of the ESE, Hilary Rodriguez, together with officials of that entity, presented to the governor a report on the operation of the 3 months of development of the state social enterprise. During the meeting, they discussed issues such as the organization of the entity as well as the destination and management of the funds.
Definitivamente creo que ha sido positivo.
I definitely think it has been positive. We had the opportunity to express to the governor, myself, along with the entire administrative team, what has been the development of the ESE in terms of welfare, accounting, recruitment, human resources, and more. Definitely, I think the governor gets a real idea of what is happening inside the ESE.
During the meeting, the ESE directors expressed the problems that have arisen during these months within the entity.
Sí, definitivamente hemos tenido bastantes.
We have definitely had enough setbacks in some specific aspects. The software that we have been using is one of the aspects. The software is the soul of that, since it combines all the areas of the institution, then the information that is sent from one dependency affects another. The hospital infrastructure also, we all know the flaws in the hospital infrastructure. We which is inherited this hospital. However, this is not going to be an excuse not to work, but rather a reason to focus on those things that we are missing.
The governor, Everett Hawkins Chagrin, indicated during the meeting that the ESE must work on improving the present inconveniences for the optimal service of the entire community.
In an interview with Teleislas News, the Secretary of Tourism of the department, Sebastián Ospina, gives an assessment on the number of tourists who have entered the department in the last month.
El mes de abril, con corte del 28.
In the month of April up until the 28th, we received 63,000 tourists, a fairly significant figure, and we hope that at the end of the month we are at 65,000. It was something we expected, although in March we had a fairly high peak of tourists and we expected a little less in April. We still met our goal. The idea, even though we knew that we were not going to reach such a high figure as in March, was to sustain it and not to generate trauma in the tourist community, and this objective was achieved. we have been working together with the airlines, the agencies, the tourism providers, the lodgings, and let's say that our forecast is always within the range of what we desired.
The Secretary of Tourism emphasized that it is important for the department that the number of tourists entering the island is manageable so that the authorities can verify that all biosecurity protocols are being followed, a task that the departmental government is also carrying out on a daily basis.
Bueno, el equipo de RNT.
The Tourism Secretariat team continues to do all the verification. We have found that many tourist accommodations do not have up-to-date documentation with the National Tourism Registration. Therefore, we have called the competent authorities to follow up on these cases.
The head of the portfolio stated that this control is not only made to the lodgings but also to all tourism providers on the island.
A new call was opened so that those who wish to continue their studies can do so through the SENA. This time the opportunity is for the seafarers.
The director of the departmental SENA explained the new offer of courses that the institution opened for those interested in programs for seafarers.
Queremos contarle a toda la comunidad que el SENA...
The SENA has opened inscriptions for seafarers training programs. In total, there are 8 courses, among which 5 OMI courses stand out. Also, the Coastal Motorist course, Seafaring Orientation, and Operator of Radio and Communication Equipment. Those interested may register until May 14 through www.senasofiaplus.edu.co. The requirements are to have your identification document and OCRE card and your occupational health certificate issued by Sendiatra.
To acquire the occupational medical certificate, those interested must go to the IPS or Malina, which is authorized to issue such document.
And in other news, the departmental government is studying the possibility to achieve direct flights between San Andres and Pereira.
During a meeting held between the administration and the senior executive of GCA Gran Colombiana y Aviación and the wholesalers of the city of Pereira, in the interest of having direct round-trip flights between San Andres and Pereira, route was discussed. The Secretariat of Tourism described this possibility as beneficial.
This route will not only benefit the tourists and increase the flow of tourists in this important region of the country, but it will also be useful for us. For example, many students have their campuses in this city of Pereira or Medellin, and for the tourism issues in the other locations.
Taking into account that San Andres not only handles inbound tourism but also outbound tourism, this also benefits islanders who wish to vacation.
We are always looking for nature or mountain tourism, the theme of the coffee cultural landscape, so they sight with every good eyes. Let's hope that this route will be activated very soon.
It is expected that this idea can become a reality. The departmental government is ready to support this initiative.
And now we continue with all the information from the municipality of Providence and Ketlina. In search of resuming the process of economic reactivation of artisanal fisheries, the Ministry of Agriculture and the AUNAP met last night with the fishermen at the Camp for Dignity.
In search of continuing the process of reactivation of the economic activity of fishermen of the municipality, the Ministry of Agriculture and the UNAP, in a meeting yesterday, presented to fishermen the status of the process for the acquisition of boats, launches, and fishing engines. The meeting was attended by the delegation of the Comptroller Office.
Un proceso de adquisición de embarcaciones y lanchas.
An acquisition process with 2 different entities, one which is the AUNAP in conjunction with the ministry, and the other is a technical sheet that we deliver to the National Risk Management Unit, where we are also going to buy a significant number of boats and motors, flake ice manufacturing plants, scuba diving equipment, and other elements to be able to do the reactivation.
However, according to the ministry, the deliveries will be made in a partial way, a schedule that fishermen do not accept.
Esas entregas parciales están programadas.
These partial deliveries are created to generate the vision. We have clearly stated that in order to save the process that has lost its course, we have created a table to dialogue and agreement so that we can begin to resolve the recovery of the process and to be able to resolve the new issues of the new situations that have arisen.
The deliveries amount to close to 5,000 million pesos. During the meeting, the Comptroller's delegate for the citizen participation also took note of other issues.
Vino a escuchar
The delegate came to listen to the fishermen and their concerns, to see how they can help the processes to move forward, and logically, they took careful note of everything the Federation said.
The proposal of a consultation table seems important to the Comptroller Office for Citizen Participation and will join into it when it is established.
And this afternoon, in the meeting room of the National Unit for Risk Management, the first session of information sharing on the beginning of works of the construction project and recovery of the maritime dock of Old Providence took place.
This afternoon, in the presence of the representative of the Envias, the Mayor's Office, Community, Dina Cole, and the contractor of the reconstruction of the municipal dock and the auditor, the process of socialization of this work began.
We were with the contractor and the auditor, who are in charge of the socialization with everyone who may be affected by the project, due to the fact that some entities did not attend, and in order to have more clarity on the schedule. This socialization was suspended to continue on Friday, May 7th at 3 p.m.
One of the issues that will affect both the community and the reconstruction project will be the decrease of inputs that will be able to enter the municipality. The dock will only be operating in a 60%, and the reason why in the second session more clarity will be sought on the execution of this work and the operational part to cushion the impact of the processes that are being carried out on the island.
And now let's go to all the cultural news of our department.
National Radio invited several raizal to the program Encuentros. One of them explained his participation in response to the question, what is it like to be raizal in Colombia?
Y explicamos cuáles son nuestros derechos.
What our rights are, the limitation that Colombians have within our ancestral raizal territory, and our sovereignty over our seas that goes beyond the limits that the states have to impose.
ClipFest participants gathered around a storytelling workshop on the island. The workshop leader explains.
Lo importante de ese taller es que
the important thing about this workshop is that we touch the heartstrings. Let's go to the emotion. Let's go to the detail. Let's go to the research and look at how we can begin to take hold of what can possibly differentiate us from any other audiovisual product.